Hi, this is the True Blue Lounge, and my name's Roger Smith. And I thank all my guests for joining on because it's all about being authentic. And today we have a great guest, Captain Marlene Smith. Marlene, how you doing?
Hey, Roger. I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to your show, man.
No worries, no worries. Hey, it's all about real people. So, Marlene, you know how it goes here. I've got a series of questions. This is our sixth series, and it's about getting to know Marlene. So, this is the sixth episode, and you're number six.
Oh, perfect.
All right. So you got in nice and early.
Awesome.
So we're just gonna vibe and just go because that's how the flow is. So, what are you sipping on? What are you drinking?
Sipping on my own rum punch. You
All right.
haven't tried it yet, but one of these days you will.
What kind of rum are we talking about here?
There's only one rum, man, the Jamaican white rum. Is
Rare
there
nephew.
other?
Cool, cool, cool.
Oh, yeah. This is potent stuff, by the way. Well loved by everyone.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice. What's your favorite meal?
Oh, I love curried goat. Oh, my God. But I love for Jamaican breakfast, the ackee and saltfish goes well too. But I mean, curry goat lover.
Uh-huh. Okay, cool, cool. My next question for you is a nice one. What meal can you prepare for yourself? Because
Oh,
there's a lot of people love food and can't prepare it.
there's nothing I can prepare, trust me. And if I prepare it for you, you're going to lick your chops.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so Marlene, I want to say this. When I first saw you, I'm gonna let you know when I first saw you, not meet you, but first saw you. I remember coming from England in 1975. I'm gonna say around about school started, maybe September. And I remember you keeping up a ball on your right foot only. The left one was not involved with that ball at all. But you were a white girl in the sea of black and Indian children in Unity Primary School in Stratbogie. What I want you to do is tell us about, your life from the little white girl in Little London all the way to owning the skies where we fly now.
Oh boy. Boy, it's a long journey, but I will start with the life in Little London. I'm a farm girl, man. I'm a country girl from Westmoreland. Grew up in a little quaint little town called Little London. My dad had a farm and it
Mhm.
was a 45-acre farm. We had everything on it, chickens, goats, pigs. So my father, he supplied a hotel chain basically in Negril, you know. So when I was little, we were, my parents used to go back and forth to Kingston because my oldest sister, Michelle, she lived in Kingston. And so the neighbor that she lived beside was actually a pilot. He was a pilot. And so during my childhood years, going back and forth as a young kid with my parents, I actually met this guy, Michael Batts. He's retired now, but very good friend of the family. Ended up living there with them for a few years while I was going to school.
Right.
So I remember the day when I told him that I was interested in becoming a pilot like himself. And he was the one who eventually sent me the material to apply for school at Wings Jamaica. So that was really, really a highlight in my career when I got that application form. It says, you're going to Wings Jamaica. So I applied to them and they accepted me and I relocated to Kingston. So from Unity, then I went to Mannings. And then when I left Mannings in 82, then I went straight to Kingston to
Quick
go to
question. Quick question.
school.
Why the passion to be in the sky? Why?
Yeah, so it actually started at Frome. You remember the little airplane at Frome Prep School on the
Yep.
compound was a little red rocket going to the moon, and that
Uh-huh.
was my little toy. Every time I went to the school, prep school, before I even went to Unity, every time I
Uh-huh.
went to Frome Prep School, I was climbing the steps of that little rocket. It was a two-seater rocket, two little steps going there. It had a little flight control column. And as far as I was concerned, I wanted to be an astronaut. I was going to the moon. So as time progressed, and I went to Unity, and then I went to Mannings, and I started talking to my dad about aviation. It turns
Mhm.
out Daddy was the one who was talking to me about his life in World War II, where he was a wireless operator. And what he did then was to send Morse code to the pilots. So,
Mhm,
he was also on board the airplanes, the warplanes, sending Morse code to what we now know as air traffic control.
mhm,
So he was back and forth on board the airplane on the ground, and he wanted to be a pilot. And he told me that, in the military, they would ask you to blow mercury up a tube. And so he missed the mark by 1/16th of an inch. And they said, "Oh, your lungs are not strong enough. So I'm like, wow, you missed that opportunity. Why I really would love to, grasp at that opportunity and see if maybe I could be a pilot. But in those days, there weren't a lot of female pilots. But as time progressed, I was able to make contact with Maria Zidi Haddad. She was the first female pilot with Air Jamaica. And I
mhm.
found out that we had other female pilots in the military flying helicopters as well. And in fact, at Wings Jamaica, Mr. Barnett's first wife was also a pilot. So there were women already established in the industry. And I just got um, in touch with Maria, and the rest is history because, like I said, she paved the way. I remember when I applied first to Air Jamaica in 1988. I got turned down because I was too short.
And how short? Sorry, how tall are you? I'm gonna say 5'4".
5'2".
Wow, it looks like you didn't grow from Unity then. Wow.
Exactly. I haven't grown an inch since Unity, you
Okay.
know? But yeah, so at 5'2", I'm like, I'm not gonna grow any further.
Mm.
And
So do
then
you have a special seat in the plane?
Well, right now I occupy the left seat. But when I joined Air Jamaica in 1989, 1 year later, they
Mhm,
reconsidered and they hired four women in 1989. And I joined as an engineer. I was a flight engineer, what they call then second officer. So we had the captain in the left seat, the first officer in the right seat, and the flight engineer or the second officer in the third seat. And the
right.
second officer or flight engineer was really in charge of the systems of the aircraft. We had to manage the fuel, the hydraulics, the everything, the engine starts, pressurization, all of these things, all the systems of the aircraft. Nowadays, with modern technology, they have eliminated the third pilot. And most of these airplanes nowadays, they only have two seats, the captain seat and the co-pilot seat, the first
Mhm,
officer seat, because everything is automated.
right. Hey, so name a job that you really enjoyed doing and one that you really didn't.
Okay, well, flying. I love my job. I mean, they can call me any hour of the day or night at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Marlene, it's time to go to work. And I jump up and get dressed and I'm heading to work. I absolutely love going to work.
Is that the only job you've done?
No, actually, when I was growing up, my mom was at Frome, and she was a secretary at Frome. And during my summer holidays for Mannings, I would go to Frome and do some typing for her.
Okay.
And my first job that I got when I moved to Kingston was actually a typing job with a company called Alico. It was an insurance company right
Mhm,
in New Kingston. And luckily I did typing in school and I passed it in CXE, and I used that to gain me a job in the industry of typing at Alico. And then from there I moved on to another company called Telemar, and
mhm,
they were kind of a data entry company. So they were no I was typing on computers,
mhm.
instead of typing on a typing machine.
Right, right, right.
So I did typing. That was my first job. And then once I got to Kingston and I was working, I was also going to school
Mhm.
at Wings Jamaica, Tinsipen.
Okay, I know Tid's pen well.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, have you got any hobbies and do you get any time to indulge?
Oh God, yes. I love to dance. I love music. So I'm always walking around with my boombox wherever I go. I
What
can
kind of music we're talking about here?
all kind of genre. Reggae music is my favorite.
Artists?
Dance hall. Oh gosh, well, Bob Marley hits the top of the list, but I
Mhm.
love people like Tyrus Riley, Luciano, Buju and Beanie and all those guys. I have a playlist that you would enjoy. We have to have a session online or in person one day.
Well, Michael Wright sees himself as a little bit of a DJ, and I heard Creature is a bit of a DJ. So I'm
Oh,
trying to
cool.
get these guys on so we can have a little jam session. So this is all coming on. We're approaching 60. If we don't do it now, If we
When
can't be
if not
ourselves now,
now,
when are
when
we going to do it? My
exactly.
parents, I'm sure, wish they had these kind of opportunities with their friends. Do you know what I mean? The
Absolutely.
technology just wasn't there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, do you have any vices?
I wouldn't say I have any vices. I mean, I love my liquor, but other than that, nah.
No big cigar or nothing like that?
No, no, don't smoke. My dad used to smoke a lot and drink a lot, and
He
I
probably
just
done enough for both of you then.
exactly, exactly. I am definitely not a smoker.
Right,
Mm-mm.
right.
Occasional drinker, but I love my rum punch, so I indulge in that sometimes. I love other liquor too, I love
Mhm.
like rum and coke, and I love like a Tito's here and
Right.
there with some
Okay.
orange juice and stuff like that.
Have you got a favorite book that you've ever read? Author that you like?
No, I can't say I'm an avid reader. I'm
Good,
not,
good, good.
you know, but I remember in school they always, from primary school and younger days in Mannings, you read the Mills and Boons and all of those
Right.
Hardy Boy books and Nancy Drews and all of those. I've read all of those.
Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But as time progressed, I'm like, you know what?
Mm.
All I want to read is my aviation books.
Right.
I was
I'm
just,
I'm kind of like that when it comes to engineering books and stuff. But I will say this to you: I was able to. Someone introduced me to audiobooks,
Mhm.
and if you were to say, Roger, how many books have you read that were non-technical? I would have said, hey, probably 13 my whole life.
Mm.
And in the last 4 years, I've probably gone through 40 audiobooks.
Oh, really?
So the
I
moral
need
of the
to link
story
up
is,
with
yeah.
that books. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and one of the nicest ones I read that I didn't think I would really enjoy was Michelle Obama's one.
Oh,
And I think because it was in her own voice, it felt like she was sitting down talking to me.
talking to you. Oh,
And so I'd advise anyone to that doesn't read because print, looking on a print at this age before you go to bed, it's like, come on. I mean, I'm lucky
jumping
enough to
deep.
not wear glasses at the moment, but I can imagine if I did.
You wear contacts?
No, 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 nothing at all.
Oh,
If I can't see it, it wasn't worth seeing.
yeah, okay, I got you.
So, Marlene, are you religious, and how has religion helped you?
Yes, I'm actually very religious, and I'm a devout Christian. I remember when I was about 8 years old, and we were on the farm at the time in Little London, and my parents were always going to church. We have a beautiful church in Little London called St. Paul's, and that's where I got confirmed in the church. And I used to love riding my
Sorry,
bicycle.
when you say confirmed, it tells me that it wasn't like a New Testament church of God. It tells me like it's Catholic, is it? Candle lighting.
Well, it's they call it Anglican up here. They call it Episcopalian.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but it's
Continue. Sorry, I just
Anglican.
there's people listening. When you use the
Yeah,
word church and you say Jamaica, we're expecting
clap
timbrel
hand,
or to be.
clap hand church.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, so I used to enjoy riding my bicycle to church. It was like 10 minutes away,
Uh-huh.
you know. And I just, when I look back at Christianity and see where Jesus came from and all the trials and being nailed to the cross and all those things, it really hurts my heart. And I found that I was like so sad that he had to endure all of that and he did it for me, and for you and for all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I really fell in love with the church.
Well, at me as well.
You too, whether you like it or not,
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you
Yeah,
very
God,
much.
Jesus,
I'm gonna have to thank him.
yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you. He loves you too, no matter what.
Mhm,
Good or bad, he's there. And he's been there throughout my whole career. He knew exactly, he had it all planned before I was even born.
mhm,
And it's been challenging the
mhm,
roots, because as a female in this industry, male dominated, they call it. Then
mhm,
it's been some challenges, you know what I'm saying?
mhm,
But just learn to overcome them,
mhm,
and then you just move on and stuff like that. So God has a huge part in my life, even to
mhm,
this day. Yeah.
mhm,
I'm still very much active in the church. I'm part of the vestry at church here in the US.
mhm.
And we have regular meetings and stuff like that, and we're always trying to raise money for our church and stuff like that.
You strike me as a great person, Marlene. So,
Oh, thank you, Roger. Thank you. I do try to be.
can you name or speak to me about a low point in your life, Marlene, and how you overcame whatever difficulty that you had in this low point?
Yeah, well, I just recently lost my mom, and I'm still struggling with that loss.
Sorry to hear that. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. She passed in January, and she was ailing for the past 2 years. I've been her caregiver for the past 23 years. And so I've always been around her, and she's lived here with me. And then when she passed, it's just so devastating. It's like a
Right.
piece of you is missing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And, it's still very brand new because we only laid her to rest in Jamaica recently, February 10th. So I still haven't gotten over it. In fact, I went to the hospital the other day, just to do my routine medical. And as I stepped onto the hospital compound, I just started tearing up
Mhm.
because it just brought back all those memories.
Mhm.
But I have wonderful friends, and I have my sisters, my nieces and nephews, and they're very, very supportive. And they come around, they call every day, they're in touch with me, and they keep my spirits up. And I love going to work, so I just indulge in my work as well.
Mhm.
And just keep a positive mind because she was 94 and she lived a good life. And she traveled with me a lot all over the
Mhm.
place. And in fact, in the last 2 years before she died, we took her to Jamaica. We spent a week with her in Jamaica, and then she said she wanted to go to Cancun, and we came back here to the States. And 1 month later, we were jetting off to Cancun. So she has lived a good life, and she has
That's
traveled.
nice. You glow when you talk about your mother. That's really beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, yes, she was a huge part of my life, and so was Daddy too. But we lost Daddy 24 years ago. I
Mhm.
was very close to Daddy.
Well, this makes me lead on to something. So, do you think your mother's in a better place? And when we expire, what do you think happens to us?
I do think she's in a better place, because she wasn't, no one would want to live where they can't walk, they can't talk, they're
Mhm.
not eating, that sort of thing. And so as you deteriorate, you get to the point where why bother? You see what I'm saying? And there's got to be a better place than where we're living right here on earth. And I believe there is a better place out there waiting for us.
Mhm.
And because of my Christian beliefs, I really strongly believe that there's a perfect life waiting for us on the other side. You know,
You
no
know,
suffering.
I have to say this. When you said that straight away, a thought came to mind, and it was a song I used to grow up singing. And this is a problem about indoctrination. And the song was, "Heaven is better than this. Oh, what a," yeah, something about joy will
Yeah,
miss or
with
something.
it.
But the moral of the story is, it just goes to show you, Roger went to church too.
There you go.
So, what are you most passionate about, Molly?
I am passionate about my job. I really, really love my job. I love going to work. I love flying. I'm also an instructor, so I teach students to fly.
Mhm.
And I was an examiner for the civil aviation in Jamaica for 15 years. So I would examine students, for their check rides and all that. And I'm an instructor still, and a line check airman. So I train in the simulator as well as onboard the aircraft. So I do love to teach. It's what I've been doing. The day I got my instructor's rating, it was just, I didn't even realize that I would enjoy teaching so much. I remember when I got my 250 hours, well, 200 hours for the commercial license. And then I went to Mr. Barnett and I'm like, what does one do with 200 hours of flying? You can't really work. You have a commercial license, but you know, who's going to employ you with only 200 hours? And the only airline was Air Jamaica, and they wouldn't employ you with 200 hours. So we had other smaller companies,
Mhm.
like Airways and those that you could get to join them and build some time with them and all of that. But in terms of a career, nobody's going to hire you with 200 hours. So he said, you become an instructor. I'm like, I don't know how to teach. And he's like, oh, we have that course as well. You can
Right, right.
do the course and learn to teach. And let me tell you, from that moment I got my instructor's rating, the rest is
Wow.
history. This is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy teaching.
So, Marlene, authenticity is what Roger likes to preach. Tell me about a difficult time in the cockpit where you, Marlene, was like worried.
Okay, so one comes to mind in particular when I was leaving from Montego Bay. I was based in Montego Bay at the time, and I was heading to Atlanta.
Mhm.
And there was a Hurricane Ivan that had passed through. It passed on the south side of Jamaica, and then it went up to to Atlanta side, and I remember sitting all day in front of the TV, just looking at the weather and thinking, my God, I'm going into severe weather. So I called dispatch in Kingston. They're the ones that dispatch us. And I said to the individual, you're dispatching me in a hurricane. And he says, oh, it's only category 1. I'm like, since when you dispatch me in any category of hurricane,
Right.
but category 1 is up to 75 miles. And of course, the aircraft has its limitations. You can't land in 75
Right.
knots, 75 miles per hour winds. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm like, this flight is not going to cancel. I mean, come on. I'm not comfortable going to Atlanta in these strong gusty winds. So he said, well, as time progresses, we're watching it, as time progresses, the weather will pass. And by the time you get there in the evening, it won't be that bad. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, no problem. So we actually pushed back on time in an Airbus A321. We didn't have a lot of passengers going, but we had a full ship coming back the next day.
Mhm.
So when I got up there, as soon as I got into Miami's airspace, they told me to slow down to the slowest possible speed because, clearly Air Jamaica, you know that there's a hurricane in Atlanta, your
Right.
destination. So
Mhm.
we slowed down, and I remember when we got there, they said, okay, copy holding instructions, where you're just basically going around in circles in the sky
Mhm.
until they say it's okay for you to come in and shoot the approach and land.
Mhm.
So they said, um, you expect further clearance in 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be circling for 2 hours. Seriously? I
Mhm.
could literally just divert to my alternate, which was Orlando, you
Right.
know, and just sit it out,
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
thinking at that point, why am I even in the skies going
Yes.
around in circles for 2 hours? But anyway, so we held for the 2 hours, and in fact after about an hour and a half, they offered me the opportunity to come in and shoot the approach. So I said, well, what's the winds? And the winds were gusting 40 knots, and on our aircraft we have a limitation of 38 knots,
Mhm.
right, including the gust.
Mhm.
So when I heard 40, I'm like, we are unable to accept that. So we waited on another few minutes because now we're running low on fuel,
Mhm.
and we have to reach a decision point. We call it bingo fuel, where once you get to that spot, then
Mhm.
you have to make a decision and you're going to your alternate, right?
Mhm.
So they with these hurricanes, they come in ebb and flows, and there was a little lull. And so, hey, Air Jamaica, winds gusting 35 knots. Can you accept? Oh yeah, that's perfect, So off we went, shooting the approach, and there was an American Airlines 757 in front of me,
Mhm.
and the guy shot the approach and he landed. And I'm like, oh, okay. He landed,
I
and
can do it too.
I'm right behind him,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Nice. Hey, you know what? I'd love to ask if there were any more, but if I asked you if there was any more, most people wouldn't travel again. So I just hope that these things are in the minority. You know what I mean?
But you know what? The guy landed and he came on the frequency and he was like, I would never recommend anybody shoot this approach. Severe turbulence below 100 feet.
Right.
And all I heard was, Air Jamaica, say your intentions. And I'm like, going around.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just got the power up, got the gear up, and I just went over to Orlando and we just sat it out and went
Okay.
back hours later. You know what I'm saying? But it's no fun. It's not fun.
So when you have 300 people in an aircraft, do you feel responsible? Do you actually when you close your eyes before you take off, do you realize, hey, I've got 300, sorry, I'm using the word 300, I don't know.
Yeah. We
300
care
people's
about.
lives. I have some responsibility here.
Oh, yes, it's a huge responsibility. I'm absolutely aware that I have 230 lives in a 321.
Mhm.
Sometimes more if you have kids, and of course the crew members. We carry 5 crew members, flight attendants, and the 2 cockpit crew members, myself and my co-pilot. So yes, I'm very much aware of the heavy weight that I'm carrying, and
Nice.
not to mention the multi-million-dollar airplane.
Yes, yes. Well, that's true. That's true. And that part of it I didn't even think about. But the problem is it's not like you're going to put the aircraft down in a mangled position and walk away from it. So it's a double-edged sword, I think.
Yeah, but they say any landing you can walk away from was a good landing. So
Okay, okay,
the
that's good.
passengers
I
complain
didn't
that.
know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So, Marlene, I would not be Roger that Roger knows if I didn't ask you this question. What was it like being a white girl in Little London, in Jamaica? What was it like being that minority?
Well, you know what? As I say, I grew up on a farm, and my dad had a lot of the workers from the neighborhood, and so these were my neighbors. They were my friends. We didn't look at ourselves as being white or
Mhm,
supreme or any, rich kid or anything like that. We
mhm,
just were very humble, and we just kind of blended into the community. But they looked upon us as if we were rich kids, because we were the ones with the property, we were the ones with the farm, we had
mhm.
this and that, and we were supplying the community with meals, with food. They
Right.
would come and purchase all of these chickens and goats, pigs, whatever we had on the farm, but we would share even when the neighbors couldn't afford it. We were generous in
Mhm.
giving away most of this stuff, and to this day I'm a very generous person.
Okay, I'm glad you left it there, but I'm thinking you're at school. A lot of the men that approach you don't look like you. What's going on? What's going on in your mind? You know what I mean? The only two white people I thought was Micah Wright and yourself, and then now I'm looking at Micah Wright and I'm thinking, but Michael's not even that white, so I'm not so sure what's going on. So talk to me.
But in Jamaica, our culture, see, I'm sporting our Jamaican colors and thing,
Can
and I
you
see
can you
you
can you
have the
show us?
hat.
Can you show
Yeah,
everybody what you're wearing, please?
yeah, I wear my Jamaican colors. See there? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
yeah.
Nice,
I'm a
nice, nice.
fly. But Roger, you're from Jamaica, and Jamaica is one big melting pot. Out of many, one people is a true description of our culture,
Mhm,
where it doesn't matter if you're black or white or purple or green, whatever. We're just
mhm,
in one family. We're a big Jamaican family. And all of us come from different places. We have ancestors all over the place. My ancestors tend to be more English and Scottish, is what I'm told, because I didn't really know my grandfather on daddy's side. I knew my grandmother, and she was just as fair as I am, but she's Jamaican, and my mom and dad were born in Jamaica. You
mhm,
know what I'm saying? So you and I know the culture. The
mhm.
culture, out of many one people.
Did you get, flogged at school like I did?
Oh God, yes. You were there with me at Unity
But
Primary.
but but you got as beating just like we did?
Of course, what you mean?
Well, I didn't know. I did not know that Miss Cox or Miss Dobson would
Dobson.
dare beat the white girl because I think you were on a different lessons class from me.
Yeah, no man, we get whipped same way. It didn't matter color. Miss Dobson and Mrs. Cox
But
did.
your skin would wale up more than ours. Yours would be visible.
They didn't care about that.
Wow,
They
wow,
didn't
wow.
care about
I
that.
tell everybody, and Nigel's not gonna like me for this. One day Nigel get 98 and Miss Cox give him some lick. Tell him say next time get 100.
Oh my God. Oh my God. But in those days, we just take
Yeah,
our licks and moved right on. You know what
that's
I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so did you have a high school crush?
I did. Yeah. And he
Do
knows
you, do you,
about
do
it.
you do you care to tell us who that was
Uh,
and did the person know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he did know. Paul Thompson. I don't know if you remember Paul from Mannings. He
Yeah,
came.
I remember Paul. Didn't he have like little, wavy hair, very Indian looking?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fairish.
Yes, 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 yes.
I thought he was very handsome. And
Okay.
I think he joined in second form. I don't know what I was doing admiring
Right,
anybody.
right, right. Okay.
But yeah, and then we got talking, and I found out that he was a 7 day Adventist.
Mhm.
And when we had our school trips and all of that, he wouldn't be able to come because it was church day on Saturday, you know. But one day he did come. We went, I think it was to Kingston on a bus. Remember those days at Mannings when we would have
Yep. Mhm.
these trips to Kingston so that you could go to pantomime and all that.
Mhm.
And then
Uh-huh.
we'd stop in Ocherios and climb Dunsborough Falls and all these things. And
Mhm.
then on the way back, we stop in Montego Bay. In fact, one of my friends who was on the trip took a picture. And I still have that picture when we were young kids at Mannings, and we're sitting on the rail at Discovery Bay, you know. And it's really a lovely, cute little picture. I mean, with us, we were young and skinny, and yeah,
You have that picture?
I do, I do. I
Wow,
don't.
wow, wow. So do you remember stopping at Tops? There was a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we used to stop. There's a place called I'm thinking it's Tops. I can't remember. It's in Montego Bay somewhere.
Yeah, we were. I don't remember exactly where we stopped, but there was like a bridge, and there was a rail, and they stopped to go kind of clubbing, to kind of introduce us to clubbing. And this was like 10 o'clock at night, but we were up from early because we had to drive to Kingston and then on the way back drive on the north coast to come back home, and we had to get home before a certain time, you
Mhm.
know but we had a really, really lovely time, and he was a great friend. I think he's in Cayman now. you
Okay.
yeah, he's married with kids and stuff, but we still communicate here and there.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it was my
So how do you keep yourself in good spirits and manage your mental health?
You know what? Exercise. I try to exercise. I love to walk. So, I have my girlfriend who lives in this neighborhood, a few of them, and we try to go walking morning and evening to get that exercise going. Because, as you grow older, with high blood pressure and all these other things that
Mhm.
want to take us out, we have to be able to manage it, and proper diets. She encourages me to eat more fruits and vegetables, instead of the curry goat and the oxtail. And
Right, right, right. Hey, don't knock it though, it tastes good, you know? Hey, looking at life's journey, is there anything that you would have done differently?
no, not really. I think the only thing I would have probably wanted is to have a child, you know,
Mhm.
because I'm still single, and I never did have a child, never did get married.
Mhm.
And the gentleman I was with for 15 years, he was older than me,
Mhm.
and I think if I had to redo all of this, I probably would have married him. Yeah, he did
But
want.
take my advice. They bring so much joy, but they can bring pain too.
Yeah,
So honestly, you know what I mean? I'm so glad I'm of an age where mine can light a cigar for me and bring me a rum.
there you go.
That's the only use. If they can't do that, they can leave now, you know, and I hope they're watching this, you know what I mean? So that's great. Hey, how did your high school shape the human that you are today?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm really grateful for that little small rocket on that airplane at Frome, on
Mhm.
compound on that playground, because that was my first look at the possibility of even becoming anything close to a pilot, needless to say, an astronaut, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then, Unity and Mannings for sure, where you had the option to choose all the subjects that you needed to lead you in that general direction. And I had really great teachers. At the time, it was a lovely headmaster, Mr. Nita, Herbert
Mhm.
Nita, and his two boys, Michael. And yeah, I remember them very well. And Mannings really was my foundation, because that is where, when I was talking to my dad and really thinking about what I wanted to do, even in the Manning School magazine, it has a picture of me and it says she wants to be a pilot, but, is her height going to be a factor or something to that effect? You know what
I
I'm
wonder who wrote those
saying?
sayings. 'Cause
I don't I don't know. I don't
they were really good, and I don't know, the person that wrote those was very, very talented. Trust me on that, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like I said, with my Christian background and stuff, God has really, directed my path, and put me all the way to where I am today, and I'm still enjoying my career. I only have a few more years left because retirement is at 65.
Mm.
So I'm just enjoying every minute of
But
it.
you're 45, so what you gonna
There
worry
you
about? You
go.
got 20 more years in the sky, girl.
Exactly.
Um, this is a funny one. What can you do today that tomorrow's Marlene would be proud that you done?
Oh gosh. What can I do today that tomorrow's Marlene would be proud of?
Apart from speaking to me, obviously, but you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I really enjoy giving. I enjoy giving. And that has been a part of my life. I love giving and sharing with others. I am a huge part of the church, and I would really love to see the church do a lot more for individuals who are less fortunate, you know. And we do have missionary trips and stuff, and there's one being planned right now. I'm not a part of that one, but I would love to go on some missionary trips and to help to feed the less fortunate, and especially the homeless. When I see the individuals out on the streets and they have no home and they have no place to live, and it really.
Did you know there's Jamaicans in Jamaica now that think just because you have this humane part of your makeup, they think you're a socialist. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes, yes, there are. So many people that think if you're kind to those that are less fortunate than yourself, you're a communist. But I just wanted to put that out just to make sure you know where we're coming from, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
If you could meet someone living or dead, who would it be?
Oh, I'd love to meet my parents again. I want so much. I miss them so badly.
Mhm,
I want to. I'm looking forward to that day where I can be reunited with them. You know,
mhm.
my mom and my dad.
Wow. What would you talk about, do you think?
Oh boy, we would have so much to reminisce on. My career path because daddy daddy knew I was daddy died in 1999 and I became a captain in 2002. So he would have wanted to be there that day that I made captain. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Even though he flew with me, he was afraid of flying too, but
Yeah.
mom and dad flew with me several times, especially mommy since dad passed in 99. She traveled with me a lot and she's been on my flights a few times.
Mhm,
And I would be talking to them about it because I would have wanted daddy to be there to celebrate with me when I
mhm.
got my command.
And my last question for you, are you organized or are you a wannabe hoarder?
That's a good question. I would say I'm a bit organized, but I mean, to be honest, like all of us, we have our disorganized sessions sometimes,
Mhm,
because right now, I mean, my room is a mess, but like everybody else's room, you have to
mhm,
clean it up sometimes. And, you work hard and you come home and when you're in the mood, then you say, okay, I'll get it done. But I would say I'm kind of organized because, I'm very much in tune with my job in terms of being on time and you have to get prepared ahead of time so that you're not late. And so my bags are always packed ready for flight.
mhm,
And, everything is done. The uniform is ironed, pants and shoes will shine
mhm,
and as soon as they get that call, whether you're on reserve or not, but
mhm.
you just jump and go. Yeah.
You know what's beautiful is that you look at your employment as life. You don't see it as a job. You enjoy
No,
what you're doing.
I
And a lot
do.
of people don't realize the beauty of that as it is, just
Yeah,
enjoying what you do.
absolutely. I really love what I do. I love what I do, and I would do it all over again.
And for your Mannings past students that are afraid of flying, what can you say to them?
Well, you know what? Everybody has a fear. And I know a lot of my friends, even some of my family members, that are afraid of flying, you know? But flying is actually one of the safest modes of transportation.
Yep, I believe that. I believe that.
You go walking on the street, somebody's gonna
Mhm.
bounce you down, or you're riding a bicycle, or you're driving a car. I mean, in the aircraft, there's so many redundancies, that help to keep it safe. Right? We have all of these systems of the aircraft that keep
Mhm.
working. And if one fails, we have a backup. And if that fails, we have a second backup. And you know what I'm saying? There's so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
So it actually is the safest mode of transportation. And
Nice.
the thing is, if you get a chance, if those who are afraid of flying, if they get a chance to meet somebody like me and
Mhm,
introduce them to the cockpit and show them what it is we do, nowadays we can't, take you flying in the aircraft. But
mhm.
if you were to go to simulator and you're like, wow, you know, and take you flying, then it would calm you, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, so, as much as I appreciate your candor, you know, real people come here. You can't if you're not if you're disingenuous and you're not about the truth, you can't sit on this couch. And I'm really pleased that you're able to be you. I'd like you to call someone out that you know that could sit in your seat and has a good story to tell so that I can get in contact with them and they know I'm going to get in contact with them.
Oh my
Name
goodness.
someone.
Oh my goodness. There's so many of my pilot buddies that I would, want you
Mhm.
to talk to, you know.
Interesting people.
Oh yes. A lot of my pilot friends have a lot of stories to tell. They're very interesting people.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Cool, cool. Well, hey, we're gonna get to that. That's really nice. Hey, Marlene, I'm really, really, really thankful that you were able to bless this platform. And I keep saying this. It's all about authenticity, and not everyone can do this. Some people are shy. I get it,
Yeah,
Some people just can't do it because the life they portray and how they really are, their body language would say different things, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I get
I'm,
you.
I'm,
I get
I'm
you.
so glad that you're able to be you and you were comfortable enough to come on. So really, really thankful for that.
Well, thank you, Roger. Thank you. I enjoy being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing for our Blue Bloods of
Mhm,
Manning School. I'm a
mhm,
very proud past student of Mannings, and I big it up all the time,
mhm.
And
I heard that old building, the one that has the duck ants in it, is being renovated. Is that true?
yes, actually, they have begun the renovations, and I started a GoFundMe for raising funds to actually help with those renovations.
Right.
And it's in process. You know what I'm saying. So if you care to donate, feel free. I'll
I
send
did.
it.
I did see it, but what's really funny about that? There's a lot of there's a lot of money being collected all around the world, I should say. I think
Hmm.
in England, there's New York chapter, there's Canada chapter. There's a lot going on. So I'm so
Yes,
glad that your contributions as far as a GoFundMe is going in the right place. That's really nice to see.
yes,
Cool,
absolutely,
cool.
absolutely.
Hey, really, really thank you very much, Captain Marlene Smith. Thanks for blessing this platform.
Thank you, Roger. Thanks for having me.
Cool, cool.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.